This is the story of the Peterson family, Spencer, his wife Laura, and their two kids, Luke and Anna. They were a happy family, but tragedy had hit them recently. Their eldest son, Caleb, who served in the army, was killed in a war just 2 weeks ago. After losing their son, the Peterson family was devastated. One morning, when Spencer leaves for work and Luke goes to school, Laura looks at Caleb's photo and becomes emotional. At that very moment, someone knocks at the door. When Laura opens it, a man named David is standing there. He tells her that he was Caleb's friend and that they served together in the army. Hearing this, Laura invites him in and offers him a glass of water. But she's suspicious, since Caleb had never mentioned David before. When Laura asks why he came, David explains that he was injured in battle and had spent several months in a military hospital. When he was discharged, he wanted to visit Caleb's family, because Caleb had told him that if anything ever happened to him, David should check on his family. He also said, before dying, that he loved his family very much. Hearing that, Laura gets emotional and goes to the bathroom to cry. When she returns, David shows her a photo of himself with Caleb, which makes her trust him completely. David apologizes, saying he shouldn't have shown up unannounced. He should have called first. He's about to leave, but Laura stops him, asking him to meet her daughter Anna before going. A moment later, Anna comes downstairs and meets David. Laura asks David where he's planning to stay, and he says he'll find a hotel. But Laura insists he stay in Caleb's room at their home. Anna then leaves for work, and Laura shows David the room. As soon as Laura walks out, we see a strange smile on David's face, hinting that something's off about him. Meanwhile, at school, Luke is bullied by a group of kids and doesn't tell his mother about it. When Laura picks him up, he looks upset. At home, Luke meets David and immediately likes him. But when Spencer gets home, he's upset with Laura for letting a stranger stay. He warns that some discharged soldiers are mentally unstable. Later, David notices the bruises on Luke's face and asks what happened. Luke lies, saying he got hurt playing football. Spencer meets David briefly, but he doesn't like him and storms off to his room. Anna, on the other hand, tells her boyfriend Zach about David, but Zach ignores her concerns. Meanwhile, David helps Luke with his homework and compliments him, which makes Luke happy. When Anna gets home later, she avoids David and goes straight to her room, clearly uncomfortable with his presence. However, Spencer slowly warms up to David, and the two eventually sit down for drinks. During their conversation, Spencer accidentally opens up about his job frustrations. He's upset that his promotion went to someone who's only worked 4 months at the company. David asks why, and Spencer admits it's because he doesn't have a degree. David says he'll be leaving soon, but Spencer asks him to stay a few more days. He's started to like him too. The next morning, David goes to pick Luke up from school. He notices the bullies and follows them to a bar where they hang out. Inside, David orders a super spicy drink for himself and another round for the girls in their group, which angers one of the boys. The boy throws a drink at David, and David retaliates with his spicy drink, burning the guy's face. When they all attack him, David beats them up brutally. Luke enjoys watching them get what they deserve. Later, when they get home, Laura gets worried seeing Luke's face bruised again. But when David explains everything, both Laura and Spencer are impressed. David reminds them of Caleb. Slowly, he earns their full trust. That evening, Anna is getting ready for a Halloween party. Laura suggests she take David along. Anna doesn't want to, but reluctantly agrees. When she goes to call him, she finds David shirtless and feels awkward seeing his muscular physique. At the party, Anna introduces David to her friends and boyfriend Zach. While Anna and Zach go off together, David notices Anna's friend Kristen being harassed by her ex-boyfriend Drew. David steps in and beats Drew up. Kristen, impressed by him, takes David upstairs and gets intimate with him. Later, back at the party, David talks to Anna's friend Craig about buying guns. When Craig asks why he wants them, David says he's a military guy and loves guns. Meanwhile, Anna and Zach argue, and Anna decides to leave. On their way home, Anna tells David that Zach is unemployed, addicted, and always picks fights with her. David says if he had a girl like her, he wouldn't have joined the army. He'd have stayed with her. Anna blushes and the two bond over her playlist, which David praises. That night, Anna decides to make a mix CD for him. But David sits quietly in his room, looking mysterious and dangerous. clearly plotting something. The next day, David secretly uses Luke's phone to call a doctor and tells him he needs facial surgery urgently because people are looking for him. Anna overhears this and becomes suspicious. She contacts the military base and asks about David, only to learn that the real David died in a hospital fire weeks ago. Shocked, she realizes the man living in their home is an imposter. When Major Richard at the military facility learns that someone claiming to be David is alive and living with a family, he immediately assembles a special forces team to capture him. It's revealed that David was part of a genetic enhancement experiment to make soldiers stronger, but the program backfired, turning him violent and mentally unstable. Meanwhile, David meets Craig and his friend to buy guns. After completing the deal, he kills them both and takes all their weapons. At home, Spencer returns and reveals his boss and the boss's girlfriend were found dead in an apparent suicide, and now he's been promoted. The family finds this strange, but Anna suspects David is behind it. Soon, Anna gets a call from Zach, who tells her Craig has been killed. That confirms her fears. She tells her friend Kristen everything about David, the fake identity, and the phone call to the plastic surgeon. Kristen advises Anna to ask Luke to look through David's phone records. Later, David and Luke carve pumpkins together. David gives his knife to Luke, telling him to keep it for self-defense. When Anna comes home, she pretends everything is normal, but sneaks into David's room to photograph his call history. Just then, David's phone rings, and he realizes someone's been in his room. He suspects Anna. Anna tries calling Zach, but the police have already arrested him. The gun used in Craig's murder was found in his van. Anna is devastated and convinced David framed him. She confronts her family and accuses David of killing Craig and framing Zach. Laura and Spencer don't believe her. Anna tells them she confirmed with the army that David is dead, but David calmly says that since he worked in special forces, the army would deny his existence. He shows them his dog tag, and Spencer scolds Anna for being disrespectful, asking her to apologize. Anna refuses and storms off. Later, David goes to Anna's room, acting polite but subtly warning her not to interfere in his business. Meanwhile, Major Richard and his team are on their way to capture David. Anna finds out from the copied call records that David spoke with a Dr. Peter, a plastic surgeon whose license was revoked 2 years ago. She tells Luke everything and asks him to help find more info. Though hesitant, Luke agrees. At school, Luke searches for David online, but gets into another fight with his bully. When called into the principal's office, Laura and David arrive. The principal wants to suspend Luke, but David defends the boy and threatens legal action, saying the school ignored bullying. The principal backs down, giving Luke detention instead. Luke is grateful and tells David that Anna suspects him and plans to go to the police. David asks who else she told, and Luke mentions Kristen. Back home, David helps Laura with laundry. Laura thanks him sincerely for helping the family. As David goes to get more clothes, Major Richard's team arrives outside the house. When David spots them, he opens fire, killing 2 agents. Laura hides inside, frightened. As David tries to escape, Laura confronts him, demanding to know who he really is. When she calls for Richard's help, David stabs her to death. He steals Laura's car and escapes, killing the remaining soldiers and slashing their tires. On the road, he spots Spencer driving home and rams into him, crashing the car before shooting him dead. Soon, Richard catches up and borrows a car to reach Anna, knowing she's the next target. At the restaurant, David kills Kristen and blows up the entire place to erase all evidence. Richard finds Anna before David and explains everything, that David was part of a failed super soldier experiment. The experiment turned him into a killing machine who can't stop himself. They rush to Luke's school, where a Halloween dance is happening inside a haunted house setup. Just as they arrive, David cuts the power and plays Anna's playlist over the speakers, signaling his presence. He kills Luke's teacher and Richard. Luke still thinks David won't hurt them, but Anna reveals he killed their parents. Heartbroken, Luke believes her. Anna hides Luke and prepares to fight back. When David catches Luke, Anna points a gun at him and shoots. He falls but quickly attacks her again, stabbing her leg. She fires back but accidentally hits a light fixture, triggering a fire. David strangles Anna, but Luke stabs him with the same knife David gave him earlier. David, bleeding and weak, smiles and tells Luke, "You did the right thing," before collapsing unconscious. Outside, Anna and Luke sit in an ambulance, shocked and broken, having lost their parents. Suddenly, Anna notices a firefighter walking out of the burning school. It's David, alive and disguised in a firefighter's uniform. He escapes unnoticed. And that's where the story ends, showing how someone who seems perfect from the outside can be terrifying deep within.